Ashley Landis has been called a lot of things lately. Is that her I hear laughing over there? How many of you in this audience, be truthful, know who Bobby Harrell is? Well, you do, don't you? Ashley's been making a little news concerning our beloved speaker in Columbia. But she also has some other things she'd like to share with you. She is the president of the South Carolina Policy Council. Please welcome Ashley Landis.
Thank you. All right. You know, this crowd is so big, I think I might actually need the microphone. Most of the time, I don't, because you can hear me in the next county. But there's so many of you today, and I am so glad to see all of you out here. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being here throughout this fight. Because, folks, it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long one. I'm glad to hear that. When my friend Harry Kibler asked me to come today, he said, "Now, Ashley, I want you to get up there and do what you do so well. Tell the people the truth." I said, "Really? Come on, I thought you wanted some inspiration. You want the truth?" Okay, well then, folks, I'm going to give it to you. You know what we do at the South Carolina Policy Council. We promote freedom, we protect freedom, and we prove freedom works. That's our job. Now, we are a think tank, sure, and once upon a time we put out a lot of white papers. We did a lot of research. We got a lot of experts to talk to us about the economy and give us solutions. And guess what happened? None of them got through this politician barrier. So guess what? We got out of the ivory tower and we got out here and we started talking to you. And since then, we have drilled down what we need to do. Folks, nobody needs to be designing innovative policy ideas or creating new healthcare systems or coming up with smart education plans. What we need to do is identify barriers to freedom and empower you to tear them down. That's it. Now, how easy is that? But I got to tell you, when we talk about this healthcare bill, when we talk about an assault on Second Amendment rights, an assault on parents' right to teach their children at home, when you talk about all of those things, I say this to you, pull back a minute. It should not be this hard. This is South Carolina. We have a history of standing up to tyrants in this state, and we do it all over the world. We have never balked at standing up to tyranny. We volunteer for the military. We serve our country. We serve our state. But folks, I've got to be honest with you. We have set high standards for freedom all over the world, but we're not setting them at home. Why aren't we setting high standards for freedom at home? Don't we want better? Okay then. Are you going to let a handful of politicians control your rights and liberty instead of making sure they're protecting them? Okay, but I'm going to tell you that's going to take a lot of work, and I'm going to tell you practically where we are on things you care about. You know, my old boss in Washington many years ago was a fiery guy, and he said this: if we don't quit backing off, pretty soon we'll be celebrating our defeats. Well, people, we're in danger of celebrating our defeats today. This school choice plan, someone characterized it as, wow, it would maybe give parents a little help with something like almost 1/10 of tuition. Is that a victory? No. Okay. Is helping some children, a few children, okay? No. Is protecting some of your Second Amendment rights? No. Okay, here's the thing. Compromise is all well and good to talk about if we are indeed compromising among each other. If we're talking about, 51 to 49%, I'd buy that. But be clear, the compromise they want you to make is with a handful of them and all of us, and that is not okay. Not when it comes to our rights. No compromise. So, if we want to stand up to Washington and fight back against this administration or any administration, you better be prepared to go through Columbia first. Because I'll tell you what, they have no power in D.C. that they don't give them in Columbia. Wrap your mind around that, folks. If we want to say no to the mandates, then we better learn to say no to the money. Because they are asking you to compromise, and apparently those of us who simply want them out of our way, want to actually control your kids' education, you want to own a weapon for self-defense, and can I say this? People aren't passionate about guns. They're passionate about their right to self-defense. It is a very different thing. Okay. So, what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to tell you something that's a little tough, and some of you have heard me say it, maybe some of you haven't. If you want to fight this health care mandate, if you want to fight for your Second Amendment right, your right to education, your right to low taxes, to keep some of your own money, to fight government spending and government intrusion, here's the thing. We're first going to have to clean up one of the most corrupt governments in the country. Folks, when our founders stood up against tyranny, they drew a line in the sand. They had already asked nicely. They said it. We have opposed with manly firmness. Well, you throw the women in, and now you got some serious grown-up. Okay? We're opposing with manly and womanly firmness. We've asked nicely. We've talked to them. We've worked with them. We have tried. How many of you have not made your voice heard? That's what I thought. So, the problem is very simple. We have the highest degree of concentration of power and secrecy in the country. You have a handful of legislative leaders who control the judges, who control the executive branch of government, and control the legislature. That is Madison's definition of tyranny, folks. If you want anything else to happen, and hear me, if you hear nothing else I say, hear this. Until we restore the American Republic government to South Carolina, nothing you care about will ever happen. Restore the Republic. Separation of powers is not some esoteric theory for the textbooks. It is reality for governance and freedom. So, scpolicycouncil.org. scpolicycouncil.org. Get on there and look at the 8 things that you have to do. They start with judicial independence, as long as legislators elect the judges. And that, by the way, you know, people think we were a little rough when we asked for an independent investigation of the most powerful politician in the state. Here's the thing. Just so you all know, it's not a personal vendetta on my part. If it were, it wouldn't get anywhere. Folks, this is about all the rest of us who want answers to questions. They've hauled an awful lot of politicians through the ringer up there, and fair enough. But our most powerful politician has gotten by with little question until now. And the only reason we were able to push that is because they knew we have all of you saying we will get answers. Personal, you bet it's personal to me. My freedom is personal to me. Our freedom is personal to me. Citizens controlling government is personal to me. It's all personal. And making South Carolina the freest state in America is very personal to me. And I hope it is to you too. So, let's do something we have not done in this state. Set high standards. Stop treating politicians like celebrities. Start treating them like employees. Stand up and no compromise on the Republic. Our founders did not compromise. The least we can do is defend their vision against a few politicians, right? So I will tell you everything you want is possible. But first, we have to clean up the corruption and restore the republic. Please, get on that website, look at those 8 points. Restoring judicial independence, the executive branch. Let's take power out of the hands of those whom you don't get to vote for. Put it in the hands of those you can hold accountable, and we'll talk about the rest of it then, right? Yeah. Let them hear your voice, not just in an election, not just when there's a bill you want, but every day that you have breath to force them to account for their actions, to push them to step up and be leaders, to demand better for you and your families. Every day you have breath, make sure they hear from you. That's how we take back our freedom. Real time, folks. You're here today. Be there on Monday, too. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, Ashley, a little subdued today. Next time, Ashley, tell us what you really think. Okay. By the way, she's right. It's not just today, it's every day. And you're a great group of people. We can tell by your reaction. So Harry has asked me to make this announcement. There's going to be precinct reorganization right here on March 25th. All you have to do is go to your polling place at 7 o'clock. March 25th, 7 o'clock. Just go where you normally vote.